On this episode of Car News Rundown, we've got a pair of new SUVs from GMC, Ford cuts back on EVs, and GM cuts jobs. Topping this week's rundown, the year of the full-size SUV continues as GMC takes the wraps off its updated 2025 Yukon lineup. Following the reveals of the Chevy Tahoe and Suburban and Cadillac Escalade, the Yukon gets upgraded looks inside and out. The aggressive new face and grille might be the best-looking variant of the GM triplets. Inside, a giant 16.8-inch touchscreen dominates the center stack, installed in a vertical layout to take advantage of the tall truck dashboard. There's also an 8-inch touchscreen for rear passenger climate controls. GMC is adding ultimate variants of its Denali and AT4 trim levels for those willing to spend big on their full-sizers. Denali Ultimate gets handsome 24-inch wheels, 16-way power front seats with ventilation and massaging modes, second-row captain's chairs, open-pore laser-etched wood trim, and a 22-speaker Bose stereo system. AT4 Ultimate has front skid plates, 20-inch wheels, and all-terrain tires, air suspension capable of raising the ride height for 2 inches of extra ground clearance, and unique leather and wood trim options. The Yukon gets a whole host of new tech and safety features, including available night vision, pedestrian and bicyclist braking, intersection emergency braking, blind zone steering assist, and jackknife alert for trailering. Engine options carry over with the standard 5.3-liter V8 or optional 420 horsepower 6.2-liter V8. Or you could go with the 3.0 Duramax diesel and its hefty 495 pound-feet of torque. Expect pricing closer to the truck's on-sale date later this year. Compact SUVs sell in big numbers these days. GMC is hoping to grab some of that market share with this new 2025 Terrain. Launching alongside the updated Yukon, the next-generation Terrain gets a squared-off exterior design that fits in well with the GMC family and looks decidedly more upscale than the similarly sized Toyota RAV4. The interior gets GMC's portrait-oriented 15-inch touchscreen dominating the center of the dash and an 11-inch digital gauge cluster. Simplified graphics control the infotainment system along with Google Assistant, Google Maps, and available apps like Spotify. Wireless chargers are located near the armrests. If light off-roading is your thing, the AT4 model comes with a lifted ride height, metal underbody protection, selectable terrain mode, red front recovery hooks, and all-terrain tires on 17-inch wheels. If luxury is what you're after, the Denali comes with heated rear seats, 19 or 20-inch wheels, so-called smart frequency dampers, and animated exterior lights. All models come with a 1.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder engine good for 175 horsepower and either 184 or 203 pound-feet of torque, depending on drivetrain. Front-wheel drive models get a CVT, while all-wheel drive models get an 8-speed automatic. All Terrains ride on 4-wheel independent suspension. 2025 models will launch an elevation trim late this year, while the AT4 and Denalis will arrive as 2026 models sometime next year. Ford is pumping the brakes on electric vehicles in a big way. The company has announced the 3-row EV crossover it had planned for 2025 and then delayed to 2027 is now dead. Meanwhile, Ford is racing to push out more plug-in hybrids to chase where buyers seem to have moved over the last 2 years. But not all Ford EV development is toast, as the company still plans to release a commercial electric van in 2026 and 2 pickup trucks in 2027. That also means vehicle production at the company's new $5.6 billion plant in Tennessee won't begin next year as originally planned, though Ford says battery cell production will start there next year. The changes mean Ford is cutting EV development spending from 40% of future capital budgets down to 30%, though the cancellation of the 3-row crossover program will cost Ford at least $400 million, and other write-offs due to these changes projected to run upwards of $1.5 billion. GM is swinging the axe once again in Detroit. According to CNBC, the automaker is cutting about 1,000 salaried workers, mostly employees working on software and services for the company. The layoffs include 600 cuts at its tech campus around Warren, Michigan. GM told CNBC that the cuts were part of the need to, quote, simplify for speed and excellence. Software and services are becoming more important for all automakers, and for GM that includes everything from Super Cruise to OnStar to infotainment systems. The cuts represent a little over 1% of the company's global salaried workforce. This is Car News Rundown, your new source for automotive news, debuts, and analysis. Like and subscribe to get our latest updates. Thanks for watching.